What's going on, sports fans? Welcome to the Sports Opinions Podcast live stream, episode number 55. I'm your host, Alex Cuesta, as always, here with you. Love doing this. Great time. Hope everyone had a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is you celebrate. Hope everyone had a good time doing it. We are here right before the new year, and it's crazy that we're jumping into 2019 right away as quick as we are. But it is about to be the new year. We're going to have a good time. Sports Opinions is ready to take it to new levels. I have great support from great fans, great people around me. So I'm just really pumped to be jumping into this. Today, the live stream is going to be fun. I asked a few people what they wanted to hear about. Well, not even a few. I asked everyone on Facebook, and a few people responded as to what they wanted to hear about. So I'm going to give them what they want. I'm going to talk about the things that were requested of me. And if all, we're going to have more people on here leaving some more comments. So that'll be pretty fun. And let's run away with it here. So first thing I want to start off with, my buddy Omar commented about a player named LaMelo Ball. He is the son of LeVar Ball. People don't know LeVar Ball was in the news a whole bunch. He has three sons who play basketball, and he's a big mouth guy, smart guy, business guy. Really promotes himself, really promotes his brand, which is what he calls the Big Baller brand, BBB. He has basketball shoes that are astronomically priced, but Chad Ochocinco supports him, which is pretty cool. But he promoted him, and he promotes all three of his sons. And one of his sons, not Levar, one of his sons. Why can't I think of his name? I rip Colton about him all the time. Whatever. Well, the son we're talking about is LaMelo. And Colton, where are you right now? You should be watching this to help me out. Man, why can't I think of the ball's name? Anyway, he plays on the Lakers, second year point guard, and he's doing pretty well. I didn't have much faith in him being a superstar, and he still isn't a superstar, but he is doing pretty well. And his dad propped him up like the second coming of God when he was on UCLA. It was actually really interesting what he did. But all has turned out well for him. And he is playing good basketball. He's over there in Los Angeles playing with LeBron James, who's currently injured, but he is playing with him and he's doing a good job over there running the show. And it's something that happened well for LeVar Ball and one of his sons. But overall, what I think LeVar Balls did was kind of hurt his sons because what he ended up doing is he didn't like the head coach at one of the prep academies that his other two sons, Leangelo and LaMelo, were playing at. So he ripped them out of those academies, brought them overseas. They played professional ball. He opened up his own league called the JBA over in here, United States. And his one son, Leangelo Ball, didn't get any college views. So he is here playing professional ball in his father's league. But his other son, LaMelo, is actually a really, really talented ball player, a lot like his brother. And he has actual pro potential. Now he's running into some problems. He just recently got added back into high school ball. He is going into a prep school over in Ohio. The prep school doesn't have to abide by Ohio State rules because they are outside of that sphere. They are a private school. They are a prep school, similar to schools like IMG Academy and things like that. And they have decided that they want to take a chance on LaMelo Ball. Omar, help me out. Who is the ball that plays on the Lakers? I am drawing a blank on him right now. Omar, help me out. Colton, you help me out too. The ball that plays on the Lakers. Who is it? Anyway, LaMelo is now going to go play high school ball. But the issue is if he was to go play at a public school or a school that abides by the governing body of Lonzo. Thank you, Omar. Lonzo Ball. How did I forget that? Lonzo Ball plays on a Lakers second year point guard. Moving on. If he was to go to a school under the governing body of Ohio, then he would not be able to play high school ball. There are certain stipulations in there that state that if you're a professional any way, even if you don't take money, which in this case, LeVar Ball and his family have stated that they did not take any money to play overseas while playing in Lithuania, which is really fishy that he's playing pro ball, but he's not taking any money. But LaMelo Ball apparently did not take any money. So the academy that's picking him up in Ohio is gonna let him play. He's a super talented kid, and all's well that ends well, right? This should bode well for him in the future because if he wants to play college ball like his brother Lonzo did at UCLA, he should be able to. Wrong. He's going to run into a lot of trouble with the NCAA. He is going to play high school ball. He's going to play out his senior year. But playing NCAA ball is going to be a hurdle. NCAA is one of the worst governing bodies on the planet. They make up rules on the fly, and they will penalize guys for the most minor stuff, the absolute most minor stuff. The NCAA will penalize a guy for taking $20 for writing his name on his own jersey. They will penalize a guy and they will make a guy sit or ruin a dude's career. So the issue with that is because he signed a professional contract and he has a shoe named after him, the Mellow Airs, I believe, for Big Baller Brand, there's a good chance the NCAA tries to blackball him. He can have a way around this. The main way around this is he's going to bring the NCAA a lot of money if he plays. And the one thing that I've learned about the NCAA is money talks. Money is the big thing that they want and they want to see. And what may happen and what I foresee happening is that the NCAA will meet. They will meet with the Balls. They'll meet with LeVar. They'll meet with LaMelo. And they will have him go to whatever school he goes to. He's going to serve a little suspension. What it's going to be is he'll sit out maybe 5, 6, not even 4 games to start the year. And then he's going to be eligible to play. I don't think any of the major schools are going to take a shot on him just because they don't want the NCAA to come down and research anything wrong that they might have been doing in recruiting. Check out Rick Pitino and how well he's doing. He's coaching in Europe somewhere right now. So I think these major programs are probably going to avoid trying to go after LaMelo Ball. But that doesn't mean we're not going to be able to get to see him play good ball. We really can see him play. He might be a situation where we see like a Steph Curry who played over at Davidson. Davidson's not a big school, but Steph Curry shot the lights out of it. And he was a superstar. Everyone knew who he was. And we have seen the career that Steph Curry has had. He's had a very illustrious career. And he is playing great basketball as an MVP, a champion. So there is a chance that LaMelo will go to a smaller school and be able to show his talent. So it's really weird. The LaMelo situation, I'm interested to see how that plays out. But overall, I think it's a good thing that they're bringing him back to the States. I think he got 2 years of professional play. He played against grown men. He will always have a chance to play in his dad's league, who his dad is trying to promote. I don't think that league's going to go anywhere, but he always has that opportunity if this falls through. But overall, I just think that he's going to run into some hurdles, but the NCAA might look past it. But what is actually going in his favor is that the NBA is very much more slowly leaning towards letting high school athletes come right back out of high school and play. So we'll see if within a year the NBA has gotten hip to ending one and done and allowing players to come out of high school, which again would only benefit a guy like LaMelo Ball, who has 1 year left, his senior year, and then he might be able to play college ball. So is LaMelo going to play in college? I don't know. Is he going to play anywhere like UNC, Duke, Zona, Syracuse? Probably not. We're probably going to see him at some smaller. I could see him at like a UMCB or a Florida Gulf Coast or one of these smaller mid majors that do make noise, are talented, but overall is not going to be the major school. But he will make them a major highlight. Don't doubt me on that. They will draw the ESPN games, and it will be a major draw. Next thing I want to talk about, Nick Musa. He is a buddy of mine, buddy of my friends that has joined and has actually said I do a good job at this, which thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. Trying to get better every single time. But he suggested a question which I really haven't heard much about. LeBron potentially leaving the Lakers. There's plenty of reasons for me to think that there's no shot at this happening. Now, anything can always happen. LeBron does LeBron things. I don't think LeBron's going to leave the Lakers after this year. They have a pretty good setup with the young talent. Brandon Ingram's good. Kyle Kuzma showing out to be the guy that I thought he was going to be. I mentioned Lonzo Ball, the second year point guard. He's getting better and better. His range is expanding as a shooter, and that can only help. What LeBron needs is a shooter. He needs a spot up 3-point guy, which the Lakers are currently missing. They're sitting at, I think, 19 and 14, 20 and 14. They have a good record. I picked them to go to the Western Conference Finals. I'm telling everyone right now, I think they're going there. I think they're going to challenge the Warriors. I think by that time, LeBron is going to have his team and how he wants them to play. I really think Magic needs to go out and get him a shooter. I have made the suggestion for him to go out and pick apart basically my Brooklyn Nets. Um, Colton, just because he's under contract for 4 years doesn't mean he wouldn't force a trade. He's the king. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Either way, I have made the suggestion that they can go and my Brooklyn Nets would take a Kyle Kuzma or Brandon Ingram, who Brandon Ingram is struggling right now. He's a borderline centerpiece guy that you can build around. He's not working too well in the Lakers, but the Nets have shown to take reclamation projects like a Spencer Dinwiddie and like a Joe Harris and bring them up and make them legitimate. So who knows where that's going to go, but it could be the chance that they make a move and that they go and get a shooter like a Joe Harris or an Allen Crabbe from the Nets or from anywhere. I'm just using my Nets as a reference because they're the best team that I know. But the one thing the Lakers are missing is a spot up, knockdown 3-point shooter. And Colton, you said he's not getting moved. Probably not, but Nick brought it up. So don't say stupid. That's just mean. Don't be mean, Colton. We're mean to you enough. Don't be mean to anyone else. But so that my opinion, I'm with you, Colt. I don't think LeBron is going anywhere. I do agree. Lakers are going to move Ingram for a shooter. Ingram needs a new setting. And oh, I heard an interesting tidbit. It wasn't really on the itinerary, but I want to talk about this. And it's different. And it's something that I read. I heard rumors of it last year. Colin Coward was talking about it a lot on the herd. And he was saying that from his sources, when the whole Kawhi thing was going on, is he going to Lakers? Is he not? Where's he going? Da da da, this and that. Ah, there was a lot of rumors that he might be going over to Clippers, that he just wants to be in LA. Now with LeBron over at the Lakers, I don't think Kawhi wants to be anywhere where he's not the alpha. I think he wants to be the alpha dog. I think he wants to be the big man. So going to the Clippers would make a whole lot of sense for Kawhi. And it's still LA. It still has a lot of clout to it. So I really think that unless the Raptors make a giant run at it this time around, that Kawhi Leonard, there's a good chance he does end up in the clip at the Clippers. That's my take. I just want to throw that quick tidbit in there about Kawhi Leonard, but I'm pretty keen on him possibly going over to the Clippers over the Lakers, even though the Lakers have been predicted for a long time, but they don't need him anymore now that they have LeBron. I'm going to switch some gears. I'm going to go into some NFL football now. My buddy Mike Russo, former coworker of mine over with the Insulators Union, he wanted me to talk about the Giants and how badly they suck. I'm going to expand that and talk about how badly both the Giants and the Jets suck. We're going to speak on, first off, I'm going to make a rule here. I'm not going to call the Giants or the Jets New York until they earn the right to get that right now anymore. Since they play in New Jersey and they play like they're from New Jersey, I'm going to call them the New Jersey Jets and the New Jersey Giants. It is as offensive as it sounds, especially me being a Jersey guy. I get it, but that is as offensive as it sounds. So, and Britt, I don't know. Curry, Durant, Draymond, Clay, they look very, very lethargic. They look like they don't care anymore. So I don't know if the Warriors aren't as vulnerable. They might be vulnerable this year. So you never know. But going back to the Giants, so for now, until they both earn the right to be called the New York Jets and the New York Giants, they will be referred to as the New Jersey Jets and the New Jersey Giants because they play in East Rutherford, New Jersey. So I hope I offend everyone with that because they deserve it. But we're going to talk about what they have done this year because week 17 is upon us. Both teams aren't in the playoffs. They're playing teams that are in the playoffs, but it doesn't matter. And we're going to talk about whose future is brighter. We'll start off with the Giants because Russo wanted me to hear about how bad they suck. I'm here to tell you that they're disappointing. I don't see them as being awful. They're extremely disappointing. They hung on to Eli Manning for too long. I've liked Eli. I've never spoken really too bad about Eli. He has no expression on his face. He sits there. I guarantee he has the same expression when he's angry, when he's happy, when he's uh, anything, when he's pooping, all the time. Same expression. It doesn't matter. So that's one of the dopey things about him. He's an expressionless, dough face type of guy, but he's a steady, solid quarterback, and him winning two Super Bowls and Super Bowl MVPs were not by mistake. Everyone points to the one throw to David Tyree. And I was talking to some coworkers, and that catch is huge. But it wasn't even the best play of that game for Eli. It was basically being a magician the whole time. Yes, the defense played great, but he made some great throws when he had to. He had the ability to do what a lot of your statue quarterbacks that end up playing well in the league do. He moves the pocket from within the pocket. He's not going to scramble and run for a million yards, but he's going to make that subtle step up or that subtle step to the right or left to help out his offensive linemen. When they're creating that perfect pocket, he's comfortable in it enough to step up and to move right or left and to make a proper throw. Now, can he do that now? I don't think Eli could do that now because he hears footsteps. He's gotten his ass kicked enough the past few years that he hears footsteps all the time. And being a giant quarterback right now isn't fun. Davis Webb is probably really happy he left. But right now, is Eli the right guy for the Giants anymore? It's a no. He's not the right guy anymore. They need to move on. But he is currently going to be on the roster again next year. Undoubtedly, they're going to restructure his contract. He's not going to make the $23 million he's owed because that's a ridiculous number for a guy at the end of his run. But he's serviceable to start. I'll tell you that much. And if they worked on the line, there's this misnomer that Dave Gettleman didn't work on the line at all. He sucks. He worked on the line. He drafted Hernandez. I believe his last name is Hernandez, who was as stud and as much of a bulldog guard as there can be. He had a slow start, but he drafted him at a high draft pick. He went out and got the best left tackle on the market at the time in Nate Solder. He gave up Weston Richburg at center, which I thought was wrong, but he did do things to try and shore up that offensive line. And he got rid of Eric Flowers, who every Giant fan at the beginning of this year and last year said Eric Flowers was the problem. Eric Flowers was the problem. He got rid of the problem, and the line still had issues. It was more than just Eric Flowers, but he did make attempts to better that line. Did Nate Solder lose a step? Yeah, but he was the best guy in the market at the time. So Dave Gettleman did try there. If I was him when I went with the quarterback in the draft over Saquon Barkley, yes, I would have personally, especially with the four guys that were there. I definitely would have. But he went with Saquon. He went with the best player on the board and not the best quarterback available. So he got the best player in the draft to go along with one of the best receivers in the draft. What he was trying to do is I think he saw enough from Eli that he thought that with weapons and a few seconds, he could make some plays with the great running back and great wide receiver. Now, Sterling Shepard didn't play up to snub. Evan Ingram had a bad case of the drops this year. Those two factors didn't help Eli at all, but Saquon was everything every Giant fan ever hoped for. He's the best guy since friggin' Rodney Hampton back there and Tiki Barber. And he played well. Saquon played well. Now, Beckham hasn't been on the field the last few games. I hear stupid Giants fans clamoring, trade him, trade him, trade him. What are you going to trade a generational guy like that for? Unless you're getting like four first round picks, you don't give away a guy like that. You don't. I don't care who you're going to get back for him. There's very few guys that have the ability that Odell Beckham Jr. has. So you don't give him away. Now, where I find the issue here is, and where Gettleman's going to have the trouble is $100 million was spent 2 years ago on that defense. And the first year, they were a $100 million defense. They were awesome. Rookie Landon, Collins, Janoris, Jenkins, DRC on the other side. Awesome. Just a great defense. Then Janoris Jenkins doesn't want to play last year. DRC is gone. Landon Collins battles injuries. And little by little, that massively expensive defense. Oh, and Snacks isn't there anymore, Damon Harrison. He's starting to pick apart that defense little by little because he had to, because they weren't playing. So he did what he needed to do, but now there's a lot of holes in the defense. That's where the Giants need to focus on improving. Yes, the offensive line isn't great, but they don't get a pass rush anymore, which is what the Giants have been known for. And that that defensive secondary is porous. Outside of Landon Collins, who do you have? Who? Eli Apple's gone, and he's playing well for the Saints, I believe. So who do you have in that secondary? Is your linebacking core great? They're passable, but are they great? No. The things that were the Giants football, hard nosed, front seven, linebackers going to hit you hard and stuff the holes. Uh, Pass rushers, left and right. It's just I don't understand what Giants fans see. They focus so much on offense, 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 offense that their defense is giving up so many points and not playing well. And Brittany, you brought up a great point. Olivier Vernon, the guy they brought in as the specialist, only 4 sacks this year. He's missed 6 games, and 4 sacks is the most sacks on the team. It's just they struggle. They struggle mightily, and that is where the Giants need to focus first. If Dave Gettleman, who I think is smart, he likes his hog mollies, he likes his big guys, he likes his tough guys. I think with their draft selection right now, I think they're sitting around like 5 or 6, depending on if they beat the Cowboys this weekend, which if they are smart, they will not beat the Cowboys this weekend. If they are the if Gettleman is a guy I think he is, he does whatever he can to go up and draft Josh Allen, who is unequivocally the best pass rusher in this draft. And it's not the Josh Allen, the quarterback from the Bills. He is a collegiate player who, outside of Justin Herbert from Oregon, who is going back to college as the quarterback and not coming out, Josh Allen might have been the best prospect before him, but that is a guy that I think the Giants need to go after. My Jets are sitting at 3. I would love for my Jets to go after a guy like Josh Allen. I believe that that's where Gettleman needs to start, is either great secondary, which I don't think you pick in round number 1, but I do think you get that pass rusher. And the Giants and the Jets are both needy, and that's where I shift my transition to my Jets. My Jets have played okay. They can't finish. They have given up 3 straight leads in the fourth quarter, and it's been hard to watch at times. Sam Darnold has played well, but he can play better. Jeremy Bates is one of the worst offensive play callers in the NFL. He was aggressive last week because he's coaching for his job. I don't think he has one at the end of the year, and I don't think Todd Bowles has one after Sunday either. Deservedly so. I heard a stat like Todd Bowles is like 14-35 in his tenure. Since going 11-5, they have had 3 straight at least 11 lost seasons. It's awful. I backed Todd Bowles. If you listen back to my podcast with Alan Skip Robinson, I backed Todd Bowles even then. That was right before this year started. He uh Todd Bowles can't get it done. He needs to go back to coaching defense. I interrupt this regularly scheduled programming for Brittany Schmidt's question. Should the Giants make a move for Clowney? Clowney is the beneficiary of playing next to Merciless and J.J. Watt. Jadeveon Clowney has unbelievable physical skills, but he has the motor of uh, a Kia Sorento. It's not good. He doesn't have a good motor. He doesn't try on every play. He is a absolute monster, but he doesn't come to play every game. And when you have an offensive coach like Pat Shurmur, who isn't necessarily plugged into the defensive end, he is not the guy that's going to light a fire under this guy's ass. A guy like Jadeveon Clowney needs a dude like a Rex Ryan to really just fire him up, or a Pete Carroll over in Seattle. He would fit in Seattle because they're allowed to be them, but there is also accountability in Seattle with guys like Cam Chancellor or Bobby Wagner. So Clowney is not a fit for the Giants. There is no leadership on that defensive end to hold him accountable. And on the offensive end, there's no leadership on that team right now to hold anyone accountable. Odell Beckham Jr. is their leader. And I like Odell Beckham Jr., but he's nobody's leader. And also, I would not like to see the Jets go after Jadeveon Clowney either. They have more leadership. They have Jamal Adams, but the Jets right now are pure grit. They are a team that just kicks, fights, scratches, stays in every game and battles. That is not Jadeveon Clowney. So that is what I think about Clowney. I think he's an unbelievable talent. I just think he wastes his talent often. So keeping up on my Jets, they played well, not well enough. Oh, I have a call in here. Joe, you calling in to be on the podcast?
Yep.
What's up, brother?
What up? I just wanted to know what you think about the Jets head coaching situation. Like, what do you think they're gonna do at the end of the season?
All right. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna answer that. Thanks for the call, Joe.
All right.
All right, later, brother.
See you.
All right, that was Joe Hackett. You've heard him on here before. Head coaching situation for the Jets. I think Todd Bowles is gone. Like I said, Todd Bowles is out. What I would like to see them do, what all the rumors that I've heard is Jim Harbaugh. Jim is the one over at Michigan. I know Colton's not gonna like to hear this, but they plan on throwing the house at Jim Harbaugh. Now, does Jim Harbaugh want to be the Jets head coach? There's some issues with Jim that I see. First issue is, does he want to leave Michigan now that Urban Meyer is stepping down? He has a chance to take the Big Ten by the balls if he can get a winning season going next year, if he can make it to the playoff, if he can beat Ohio State, then I don't think he's going anywhere. Second problem is a guy like him, a coach like him, wants full control. He wants Belichickian control of the personnel. Means Mike Maccagnan becomes a lame duck general manager. I don't see Mike Maccagnan becoming the type of guy that is a lame duck general manager. So those are the two issues with a guy like Jim Harbaugh. As much as I would love to see Jim Harbaugh as a coach of the green and white, I don't see him. If the price is right, he'll go. I don't know if he'll go. He makes a boatload of money at Michigan. He's a Michigan guy. He played quarterback over at Michigan. I don't know if he goes. He bleeds blue and gold. So I don't know if money is a factor as much for him as people think it is. Other guy that they have tossed around is Mike McCarthy, recently fired from the Green Bay Packers, had success there. Now, he couldn't get along with Aaron Rodgers, and there was a lot of rumor that Mike McCarthy is not as good as advertised. I don't like to believe that. I would love for them to go after a guy like Mike McCarthy. I think Super Bowl winning coach. He's had a lot of winning seasons over in Green Bay. He's done things with injuries around that team. Just at this point, the team just got picked apart, and there wasn't as much to work with. I think that a guy like him would be great for the development of a Sam Darnold. Two other guys that I like, I've been touting them. A lot of people tell me I'm nuts, but I do like them. Josh McDaniels is going to be a hot commodity. I know he floundered in his first head coaching attempt over at Denver, but he's a lot older now. He's a lot better, and his play calling is unbelievable. The Jets have been clamoring for an offensive guy. He's the offensive guy if we want. He's young. He could be with the Jets forever. And what would be better than getting a Belichick guy and then ramming it to Belichick? We tried it with Mangini. It almost worked. Didn't. Could work with Josh McDaniels. Other guy that I like, Lane Kiffin. He's coaching over at Florida Atlantic International right now. I think Lane Kiffin needs to have another shot in the big time. He has the great meme with his eyes pulling like one of these. Great meme. But I think Lane Kiffin's another offensive mind. I think he's another guy that deserves a shot. I really like Lane, and I think the Jets need to go after them. So my coaching hierarchy, the way it sits, if Josh McDaniels is available, you go get him. If then you go after Mike McCarthy, then Lane Kiffin, Jim Harbaugh above all, but I don't think Jim Harbaugh is coming. You asked about your Panthers in terms of for Clowney. Don't go after him for the Panthers. I like your team. I like the Panthers, but he would have too much of a relaxed feel, especially around a guy like Cam Newton, who's his own guy, does his own thing. Jadeveon Clowney would then think it's okay for him to do his own thing. And the issue is Cam Newton's own thing is superstar. Jadeveon Clowney's own thing is laziness. So I'm not ripping Jadeveon Clowney. He just needs to be in the right system. As much as you hate him, Colton, if he goes to play for a guy like a Tomlin, I feel like Tomlin would get a lot out of him because Tomlin's a fiery dude who seems to speak the player's language. So he might get a good amount out of him. So Clowney needs to be in the right situation. I think he's okay with the Texans because he plays with Merciless and Watt, and they can cover up for a lot of his deficiencies, and he can make a few big plays there, and he looks great. So Houston's a good situation for him. If he doesn't go there, he needs to join a team that has a lot of accountability. Pride to want to win a Super Bowl like Pete Carroll leaving USC. Now, Brittany, Pete Carroll left UFC because he had a lot of recruiting violations, and he ran away from those. So there's that. It's the same thing as Jim Tressel at Ohio State. If he leaves, it's because he knows he did a lot of recruiting violations, and he doesn't want to be held accountable for them. That if he goes to the Jets this year, that is the reason why. It's not because of football reasons, it's because he had recruiting violations and he wanted to leave to get away from those. So I'm just going to wrap up my Jets. Overall, I think Todd Bowles is gone. They need a head coach. Sam Darnold played well. The offensive line has played better since Darnold has come back from injury. They moved Spencer along to guard. Winters and Beecham have stayed healthy all year. They're playing better. They need a left tackle, but yeah, Million Lira Man picks are nothing but winners. Hell yeah, Wally. Million Lira Man is the greatest. So, but Jets defense, we have pieces. Marcus May, he needs to come back healthy. We need to see what he is. Jamal Adams is a bona fide stud. They found Anderson on the outside, the pass rusher, a big number 96. He's a good player. I think they need to get rid of Buster Screen. As much as I like him on the inside, referees look for him. And any little thing he does, he seems like he can't play without fouling. So they need to get rid of Buster Screen as much as I like him. I like what Claiborne's offered. Tremaine Johnson's getting ripped apart. Is he playing like the 20 whatever $1 million man we're paying him? It's difficult. He's not playing great. Johnson is not playing great right now. But is he better than a lot of the options out there still? You better bet your ass he is. And I would give Johnson another chance underneath another coach, underneath another system. And remember, when it comes to Jets and defense, it's Todd Bowles running the show completely. Casey Rogers is on the sideline, who is the defensive coordinator, but he's been extremely sick since like week 9. And he's battling other illnesses. So I doubt how much coaching he's actually doing. And Casey Rogers is a hell of a defensive coach. So for him not to actually be putting in the time there, it's going to hurt them. All right, so we're moving on from my, as I'm calling them now, the New Jersey Nets and the New Jersey Giants, because until they earn the right to be called New York again, they are going to be called New Jersey, because like I said, they play in New Jersey and they play like they're from New Jersey. So the New Jersey Giants and the New Jersey Football Jets is what they are. Last thing I am going to comment on before we wrap this up is the playoff picture. I had a request from my mother, Adele, my buddy Wayne Holmes, my man, and also my man Justin Carloni. All of them want me to map out playoff stuff. Wayne specifically wanted me to talk about the Ravens. Obviously, I'm going to talk about the Ravens in there, but the Million Lira Man is, really, really talking some hot stuff right here. He's sitting there and he wants me to let everyone know that is listening here. He's easily a mix between Bradley Cooper, Tom Brady, and Brad Pitt, but he's better. And he's kind of as funny as Carrot Top, but Um, Alex, I'm going to talk about the playoffs. We're going to go division by division. We're going to talk about who's in. We're going to talk about who's going to get in. And your Eagles, there's a thing with your Eagles that I want to touch up. So let's go real quick. I'm going to run it down. Um, Obviously, in the AFC East, the Patriots own that division, completely and totally own it. There is no team that can disrupt them with the Dolphins, Bills, Jets. None of them are anywhere near getting into the playoffs. The Pats play the Jets this week. Meaningless game, and the Pats are going to run them over. So they're in. Interesting in the AFC West, the Chiefs and Chargers are still vying for the number one spot there, both of them losing last week. There's something right now. I know people don't want to hear it because they love Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be the MVP, even though Aaron Donald's the actual most valuable player to his team on the Rams. But Mahomes is going to get it. But he is 0-4 in the biggest games this year. He's lost all 4 of his primetime games. Those are his only 4 losses. But realizing in the playoffs, only teams like that and only situations and feelings like that are there. So if you are 0-4 in the biggest moments, not to say it's all on Patty Mahomes, he's played very well in those games, but great quarterbacks, your Brady's, your Mannings, your Breeze, your Rodgers, your, dare I say, Ben Roethlisberger's. I said it, Colton. You heard it. Those guys figure out ways to win those games. They don't lose those games. Granted, this is basically Patrick Mahomes' rookie year. He will figure out how to win those games. This year, I don't know about the Chiefs. Out of that division, both teams are going to get into the playoffs. It's whether or not one's going to be the champion, one's going to be the wild card. I see the Chiefs locking it up. They have the tiebreaker. I see the Chiefs locking it up at 12-4. I also see the Chargers going 12-4, but being the first wild card team. In the AFC North, you have the Ravens and Steelers going to battle. Look, a few weeks ago, it looked like the Steelers were going to take it all, but the Ravens control the clock. They run the ball. Quarterback Lamar Miller is basically Tim Tebow with the system actually put around him. This is literally what everyone should have done with Tim Tebow. Um, is Tim Tebow with the system, and I just think that the Ravens are going to run the football into the playoffs. I don't think the Steelers get in. The Steelers need help to get in. I don't see them getting in. So the Ravens are in from that division. And then in the AFC South, it's Texans, Colts, Titans. Texans are 10-5, didn't lock it up. The Colts are on a 3-game win streak. The Titans are on a 4-game win streak. Three pretty different teams. The Colts and Titans play each other this week. Titans control the ball with Derrick Henry running the football, and the Colts have arguably the best comeback story in the league with Andrew Luck playing at MVP level, but right above them with the Texans, another comeback story in Deshaun Watson. I think the Texans are going to end up winning the division. They're going to lock it up. They're going to go 11-5 this week. I think the Colts are going to beat the Titans and make the playoffs. I think they are the second playoff team. Now, with that being said, you would end up having the Ravens hosting the Chargers, and then the Texans and the Colts playing each other again. What do I want to see out of there? I would love to see the Chargers win. I want to see the Chargers beat the Ravens. As much as the Ravens will give them fits because of their running game, I feel like the Chargers will buck up and beat them. And I think the Texans take care of the Colts in their game. That leaves the Chargers playing the Chiefs, I believe. Or no, Chargers playing the Pats, and then the Texans playing the Chiefs. I think the Texans beat the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs stumble. Like I said, I don't think Patty Mahomes is ready for that light. And then I think the Chargers dethrone the Patriots. I've liked the Chargers all year. I think Phil Rivers, this is his year to do something. And then the championship game, I like Chargers beating the Texans, going to the Super Bowl. So that is my AFC pick there. That's my AFC pick. I like the Chargers getting there. You heard my map. So I missed some comments while I was looking there, it looks like. Thoughts on Panthers can drive you not to a new liver till you're 65. Um, yeah, I talked about that. Sorry, I'm looking over to the other screen, Britt, so I didn't see your comments. The Panthers, I can't help you there. I'm a Jets fan. If I had any solutions about not going nuts, you think I already wouldn't be there, Britt? You think I already wouldn't have tried to do it myself? But that is so we're gonna go on to the NFC before I go a little long here. But we have the Cowboys. I think they're going to lock it up this week. They are already in, but I think they're going to actually beat the Giants, even though they're not going to play all their starters. The Giants are going to play for everything just for pride, or it's going to be an ugly game. I think the Cowboys get to 10-6. Eagles are a weird situation. We're going to talk about them. I think the Eagles beat the Redskins, so it gets them to 9-7, gives them a chance. The Rams already locked it up. They're in. The Bears are in. The Saints are in. No one from the NFC South is going to challenge. Falcons, Panthers, Bucks, all terrible records. That leaves the Vikings having a shot at getting into the playoffs, along with the Seahawks and the Eagles. Now, the Eagles need a lot to go right to get in. They're going to sit at 9-7. Believe the Seahawks have the tiebreaker against them if they get in, and then the Vikings would get in on percentage if they go 9-6-1. I think the Eagles play well enough to win. I don't see them getting in because I think the Seahawks and the Vikings take care of business. And I think it's sad. I think Nick Foles puts them in a really weird situation because I think the way he's played, I haven't believed in Nick Foles throughout his career. Still not a great Nick Foles fan, but I think he's changing my mind a little. He's playing very well down the stretch. He's smart. When you come in a game, you look for your best receiver, Alshon Jeffrey. Throw the ball to 17. If I throw the ball 35 times this game, I'm making sure I target him 15 to 20, period. Smart. Smart playing. He's a big dude. If he's one-on-one, throw it up. He's going to make a play. If the Eagles get in, I'm rooting for Foles. It's weird. I'm not a big fan of the guy, but if he gets in, I'm rooting for him. So I'm predicting they're not getting in. So, Alex, there's your answer. I'm predicting that they are not making the playoffs, unfortunately. But I have the Cowboys in. I have the Rams, obviously, the Bears, and the Saints. Saints are the 1 seed, Rams 2 seed, Bears 3 seed, Cowboys 4 seed. That leaves the Cowboys would end up hosting the Seahawks, while the Bears end up hosting the Vikings. I think the Cowboys can beat the Seahawks. I really do. I think the Cowboys can beat them. I think they're a better team than the Seahawks. They will be home. I think the Cowboys get by the Seahawks. And I think the Bears take care of the Vikings. I like what Mitchell Trubisky has done. The Vikings are going to want to run the football with Dalvin Cook, Florida State guy, but the Bears can also run with Howard and Cohen. And the Bears defense is nothing to scoff at. So I like the Bears there. That would leave the matchups being the Cowboys going to the Superdome to play the Saints and the Bears traveling to LA to play the Rams. I think the Bears give the Rams more palm than people think, and I like the Rams. I think the Rams will win this game, but I think it'll be a really close and tough game. I think the Bears are very close to being one of the best teams in the league with what they're doing there. And I also don't think the Cowboys will have enough to beat Drew Brees in the Superdome. So right there, you have the 1 and 2 seed vying for the championship spot between the Rams and the Saints. As much as I would love to see an all LA Super Bowl, I want to see Drew Brees go there more. So I'm predicting the Saints with especially since the road is traveling through New Orleans to get to the Super Bowl, the Saints will be there. And the Saints will play Phil Rivers and the Chargers. And I'm going out. This is my hot prediction, my hot take. I want Phil Rivers to get his championship. So I'm predicting the Chargers win it all this year. That is my prediction. It's on record now. So my prediction is you're going to see a Chargers Saints Super Bowl, and I want the Chargers to win it all. So there it is. There's my prediction. And there is the end of this live version of the Sports Opinions podcast. I want to thank everyone for participating. Anyone that commented, anyone that shared, anyone that liked, thank you very much. I'm your host, Alex Cuesta. Fitz, if you watch this, look, I moved a little and I added the Jets thing just for you. You hated the way my background looked, so I added that for you. I'm your host, Alex Cuesta. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at @_Cuesta30. Find Sports Opinions on Twitter at Sports Opinion 30, on Instagram at Sports Opinions 30. Again, you can visit the Facebook page at all times. And if you are looking to find us on Facebook, I'm on Facebook podcast, you can find us anywhere. Literally just go Google Sports Opinions Podcast and you will find this ugly, beautiful logo, whatever you think of it. It'll be there. You can listen to it, listen to any episode. For the new year, I am hoping to get as many of you who participate on some more with me. I love having guests. If you want to come on, please come on. If you know friends who are sports junkies, please tell them about the Sports Opinions podcast. Tell them to come on and we could just talk some sports. It'll be a great time. I have some great guests already lined up for the new year, and it's just going to be a blast. So I love doing this all with you guys. I love going live. I will continue to try and go live at least once a month. So thanks again. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you anyone who's listening. Have a good one, everyone. This Sports Opinions Podcast. Alex Cuesta. I'm out of here.